Your air conditioner cost your household $784 this summer. At least, that's what everyone thought, because 2026 is projected to shatter that record entirely. Here's the scale nobody prints on your statement. Cooling eats roughly 12% of your annual home energy, but in hot, humid southern states, it climbs past 27%. When July heat waves hit, every household fires up the AC at once, spiking grid peak demand and pushing the per kilowatt-hour price higher for everyone. Mark Wolf at NEADA keeps forecasting summer bills climbing yearly. You're not just paying for your cooling, you're paying the premium for the crowd. Think of your electric rate like a slow tide. You never see it rise minute to minute, but stand on the same rock for a decade and suddenly the water's at your neck. That's exactly how residential electricity works in America. How does someone go from paying a comfortable bill to dreading July every single year? It starts with a number almost nobody tracks. The average U.S. residential electricity price sat around 17 cents per kilowatt hour across 2024 and 2025. That sounds harmless, a penny here, a penny there, but the mechanism underneath is relentless. Utilities file rate increases with public commissions year after year, and each one gets absorbed into your bill so gradually you never feel the sting in any single month. That's the trap. The pain is designed to be invisible. And that wasn't even the part that got people angry. The part that got people angry is that electricity prices have consistently outpaced general inflation. Your groceries went up, sure, but your power went up faster and quieter. The Energy Information Administration publishes this data openly. It shows a steady upward climb across years, not a one-time pandemic spike, not a single bad winter, a trend line pointing one direction, up. And no, I'm not making that up. Here's what that means in plain terms. The exact same air conditioner running the exact same hours, cooling the exact same house, costs you more money every single year. You changed nothing. Your habits are identical, but the meter charges more for every kilowatt hour it counts. 17 cents today becomes 18, then 19, then higher. Multiply that creep by the thousands of kilowatt hours a central AC burns each summer, and the gap stops being pocket change. This is the piece contractors and power companies never lay out for you. They show you this month, maybe last month, never the decade, because the decade is where the real number lives, and the decade is where you'd finally get angry enough to act. Energy analysts who study these rate filings saw it coming. They warned that structural grid costs, aging infrastructure, and rising demand would push residential rates up year after year with no ceiling in sight. Nobody listened. The average homeowner would look back on the day they shrugged off a small rate hike and wish they'd made a different call. Picture your attic on a July afternoon. Somewhere up there, or beside your house, sits a metal box quietly deciding how much money leaves your wallet every hour. That box has a number stamped on it, and that number is either working for you or bleeding you dry. That number is SEER, the Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio. It measures how much cooling you get per unit of electricity consumed. Higher SEER means less power burned for the same comfort. Simple mechanism, massive consequences. An old SEER 10 unit gulps electricity to produce cooling that a modern high-efficiency system delivers on a fraction of the power. Every hour that old box runs, it's charging you a penalty you can't see on the machine, but can absolutely see on the bill. The federal government finally moved the floor. On January 1st, 2023, the minimum efficiency standard rose to the SEER 2 testing standard, tightening what manufacturers are even allowed to sell. That tells you something. Regulators drew a line because the old equipment was that wasteful. If your unit predates that shift, you're running below what's now considered the acceptable minimum. Then there's the oversizing trap. Contractors love to sell you a bigger unit, thinking bigger means better cooling. It doesn't. An oversized air conditioner short cycles, blasting on and snapping off in quick bursts before it ever properly dehumidifies your air. That means more mechanical wear, a clammy, uncomfortable house, and higher bills all at once. You paid more up front for a system that costs more to run and cools worse. A triple loss most people never diagnose. Here's the brutal math of it. The efficiency gap between a 2-decade-old system and a modern one isn't a rounding error. It's a structural tax on every single hour of operation. Run that old unit through a brutal southern July, where cooling can be 27% of your energy load and the wasted kilowatt hours pile into real triple-digit dollars over a season. Your equipment doesn't have to break to cost you money. It just has to keep running exactly as it is. The oldest, least efficient box hums along, doing its job, quietly writing checks in your name every hot afternoon. And the longer you leave it, the more that invisible penalty compounds against you. Somewhere in your hallway, there's a rectangle of gray, matted dust that's costing you real money right now. That filter, clogged and forgotten, is one of the cheapest fixes in your entire home and one of the most ignored. This is the part of the story the sales guys skip because there's no commission in an $8 solution. Here's the mechanism. When your air filter chokes with dust, airflow across the coil collapses. Your blower has to work harder, your compressor runs longer, and your energy use climbs for the exact same amount of cooling. The Department of Energy has published the figures on this for years. Neglected maintenance can raise an air conditioner's energy consumption by 5 to 15%. That's verifiable government-published data, not marketing hype. 5 to 15%. On a $784 summer, that's real money evaporating because a filter didn't get changed. And a fresh filter costs less than a fast food lunch. But it doesn't stop at the filter, not even close. Low refrigerant is the silent killer most homeowners never catch. When your system runs low on charge, it can't absorb heat efficiently, so it runs and runs, straining to hit a temperature it can barely reach. The efficiency quietly drains away, the compressor works overtime, and the lifespan of your entire unit shortens with every laboring cycle. You don't hear it, you don't see it, you just pay for it. Dirty coils do the same thing from the other direction. A layer of grime on the condenser acts like a blanket, trapping heat the system is desperately trying to reject. Clean coils, proper charge, a fresh filter. These are the small, boring, consistent actions that quietly beat the expensive fixes. That's the whole con of it. The industry points you toward the big, dramatic, profitable solutions and stays quiet about the maintenance that would save you 5 to 15% for the price of pocket change. The DOE hands you these numbers for free. The contractor hands you a quote. Small, consistent actions, done on schedule, protect both your bill and your equipment. The cheapest fix in the house is usually the one nobody's trying to sell you. Now we reach the number that scares everyone into paralysis. A contractor stands in your living room, points at your aging unit, and says the words, $8,000, sometimes $16,000. And in that moment, most people mentally slam the door and decide to just keep the old system limping along. That reaction is exactly what the incomplete math produces. Here's what actually happens when you upgrade. A modern SEER 18 or higher replacement can cut your cooling costs by 40 to 50%. Cut them in half. That's the mechanism nobody puts next to the price tag. The install runs $8,000 to $16,000, yes, but that's only one side of the equation. The contractor quotes you the installation. He almost never quotes you the 10-year run cost, because if he did, the conversation would change completely. Picture a neglected 15 SEER system versus a modern high-efficiency unit. And remember that rising rate creep from earlier. The efficiency gap doesn't just cost you once, it compounds year after year as electricity prices climb and your old box burns more power at a higher rate every summer. In a few short years, a homeowner running that tired old unit would understand exactly what this meant. The money they thought they saved by skipping the replacement quietly walked out the door in inflated bills, season after season, until the gap swallowed the savings whole. But here's the honest part, the part a salesman won't give you straight. The payback isn't automatic. It depends entirely on your climate, your local electricity rate, and how many hours you actually run the thing. A household in a mild climate running the AC 2 months a year has a completely different equation than a Texas home cooling for 7 brutal months. Nobody can hand you a universal answer, and anyone who does is selling something. That's precisely why the $16,000 number on its own is a manipulation. It's a scary figure ripped out of context, designed to make you either freeze or overspend. The real decision lives in the comparison the industry refuses to run for you, which is exactly what we're going to build next. Here's where you take the pen out of the contractor's hand. There is one formula that ends the guessing, and it's simple enough to run on a napkin. Your kilowatt-hour rate times your cooling hours times your unit's efficiency factor equals your real cooling cost. That's it. That's the number they keep blurry. Start with what you know. Pull your rate off your own bill, somewhere around 17 cents in most of the country. Estimate your cooling hours across a season. Factor in your unit's SEER. Multiply it out, and you have a grounded, honest figure for what cooling actually costs you today. Now do the thing they never do. Project it forward across rising rates, because we already established those rates climb every year. That gives you the honest 10-year number, not the flattering one-month snapshot. For a while, things actually seemed fine. One summer's bill doesn't look catastrophic on its own. That didn't last. Stretch it across a decade of creeping rates and a decaying unit, and the true cost stops hiding. Now run two columns side by side. Column 1. Repair and maintain the old system, complete with its efficiency penalty and rising energy draw. Column 2. Replace it, absorb the install cost, then bank 40 to 50% lower cooling bills every year after. Use your own numbers, your own climate, your own rate. This is the exact comparison the industry blurs, and you just made it crystal clear. The tools to do this are free and already on your side. The EIA publishes rate data. The Department of Energy publishes efficiency and maintenance figures. Energy Star publishes unit comparisons. None of it costs a dime, and all of it exists precisely because someone decided homeowners deserve to see the real math. Some people would call sitting down and running your own 10-year projection overkill, which, looking back, was either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid to skip, because that single spreadsheet is what ends the information asymmetry between you and everyone trying to sell you something. Knowledge is the whole game. The moment you can run the number yourself, no contractor and no utility can bluff you again.
Think of your thermostat as the steering wheel most people never touch.
It sits on the wall, set once, forgotten, quietly driving your cooling costs in a straight line whether you're home or not. And that single habit is one of the most expensive blind spots in the whole house. Here's the mechanism. Your air conditioner works hardest fighting the gap between your indoor setting and the brutal outdoor temperature. The wider that gap, the more power it burns. The Department of Energy has stated for years that setting your thermostat higher when you're away and adjusting it just a few degrees can meaningfully cut cooling costs. Every degree you ask for against a July afternoon is a degree the compressor has to grind for. Most people never heard about this part. A programmable or smart thermostat lets the system ease off during the hours nobody's home, then cool back down before you walk in. You lose zero comfort and reclaim real kilowatt hours. It's not magic, it's just refusing to pay to aggressively cool an empty house for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now layer that against the grid peak problem from earlier. Remember, July afternoons are exactly when everyone's AC screams at once, and per kilowatt hour costs spike for the whole grid. If your system is blasting full tilt during those peak hours, you're paying the highest possible rate at the highest possible demand. Shifting even part of that load earlier or later isn't a gimmick. It's dodging the most expensive electricity of the entire day. And the numbers stack. A few degrees of setback times the peak rate hours you avoid times a full brutal cooling season times a decade of rising rates. Suddenly, a free adjustment on a wall dial is competing with fixes that cost real money. This is the compounding again, working for you this time instead of against you. The industry sells you hardware. Your thermostat is a lever you already own, sitting untouched on the wall. Pull it, and you've started clawing back money without spending a cent. The cheapest lever in the house is the one you've been ignoring the longest. Now picture the invisible enemy in your walls. It's not the air conditioner at all. It's the heat pouring in through a poorly sealed, under-insulated house that forces your perfectly good unit to fight a war it can never win. You can own the most efficient system on the market and still bleed money if the building around it leaks. Here's the mechanism. Your air conditioner isn't really making cold, it's removing heat. And if heat floods back in through gaps around doors, unsealed windows, and thin attic insulation as fast as your unit can pull it out, the compressor simply never stops. It runs and runs and runs, chasing a target it keeps losing. The Department of Energy has long identified air sealing and insulation as among the most cost-effective ways to reduce home cooling and heating loads.
The attic is the worst offender. Hot air rises and collects up there, and in a poorly insulated home, that superheated attic radiates straight down into your living space all afternoon. Your AC is essentially fighting the sun through your ceiling. Seal the leaks and beef up the insulation, and you shrink the entire cooling load your system has to overcome in the first place. This is the piece that reframes everything before it. All that talk of SEER ratings, maintenance, and thermostats matters enormously, but they're all about making the unit more efficient. Sealing the house is about needing less cooling at all. It attacks the demand instead of just optimizing the supply, and it compounds beautifully with everything else. A tighter house means fewer cooling hours in your 10-year formula. Fewer hours means less kilowatt-hour consumption. Less consumption at rising rates means the savings snowball across the decade. Exactly the compounding math we keep circling back to. The industry loves selling you a bigger, shinier box because the box is the product. Nobody makes a fat commission telling you to caulk a window and add attic insulation. Yet those unglamorous fixes can quietly slash the load that every other number in this equation depends on. Fix the house, and the machine finally gets to win. Now let's talk about the fine print buried in the paperwork nobody reads. Rebates, tax credits, and utility incentives are sitting on the table right now, and most homeowners walk right past thousands of dollars because they never knew to ask. Pay attention to this next detail because it explains everything about why the upgrade math changes. Here's the mechanism. Federal programs, utility companies, and local governments actively offer money to reduce the cost of high-efficiency equipment. The reason is cold and practical. Every household that upgrades reduces strain on that overloaded July grid we keep talking about, so the utility would rather subsidize your efficient unit than build another expensive power plant. Energy Star maintains listings that connect qualifying equipment to available incentives, and the DOE points to programs designed to offset upgrade costs. Remember that terrifying $8,000 to $16,000 install number from earlier? Incentives can meaningfully shrink it. A tax credit here, a utility rebate there, and suddenly the payback math you ran in your own 2-column spreadsheet tilts hard in your favor. The upfront wall that scared you into keeping the old unit gets shorter than you were led to believe. You'd think someone would have said something. Nobody did. The contractor quoting you the full sticker price often has no incentive to walk you through every rebate that would lower his invoice, so the money just sits there, unclaimed, quietly expiring while homeowners assume the price is the price. And these programs don't last forever. Credits get revised, rebate pools run dry, and eligibility windows close. The homeowner counting on a specific incentive had a limited time frame before the consequence hit, and the clock had already started. That's the final piece of the information asymmetry. The full price is designed to look immovable, but between rebates, credits, and efficiency savings, the real net cost is a completely different number. Run your 10-year math, then subtract every incentive you qualify for. What's left is the honest figure, and it's almost never the one they quoted you at the door. Your July bill was never bad luck. It's math, deliberately kept blurry, and now the whole equation belongs to you. That truth, the 10-year number, is what puts you back in control. Run your own math before the next quote lands in your hands.